Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Danielle. For those of you who do not know me, hi, welcome. I'm so glad you stopped by today. Today I'm going to be showing you some items that I'm decluttering from my makeup collection. I've been kind of repurchasing things and finding new things that I like and have been realizing that I'm not using a lot of the stuff that I used to. So we're gonna go ahead and declutter some things. The first few items here that I'm going to declutter are some makeup brushes. These are two foundation brushes. I don't use them. I haven't even reached for these really for masks. I used to use them that way, but I just really have not. I have another one from Luxie that I'm debating getting rid of also, but don't use these. Then I have this, which is supposed to be a little smudger brush. I would rather use an actual brush. This is like rubber. It kind of feels like an eraser. And then we have a fan brush. I have another one that I like a lot better than this one. As you guys can see, the tops of the hairs are all over the place. I've had hair, or the brush hairs kind of fall out and just, yeah. So we're saying goodbye to these brushes and not feeling bad about it. I am going to be decluttering this Stila Magnificent Metals Glitter and Glow, and this is in Kitten Karma. I am decluttering this because it is super dried out. Like, I didn't even use the whole thing. I can honestly say that I'm probably not going to purchase any more of these Stila glitters just because they're $24 a piece, and I find that I don't use them quick enough. So yeah, I'm sad, but I did get a lot of use out of this. It just, there's no reviving it either. I've tried a couple of different things, and I just, yeah, I'm done with these. And so I'm only showing 3 of these, but I probably have like 50 of these loose glitters. I'm getting rid of them because they're technically for nails and I don't want to risk using them on my eyes. So yeah, they're just these little tubs, and I don't really do a whole lot of like nail art things. So these are gonna go, plus like 47 more of them as I throw them on the ground. Oh. That's all I need. Glitter everywhere. The next 2 things here I have are 2 of the NYX Plush Gel lipsticks. I kept a lot of these, but these 2 I am getting rid of just because I have a lot of really bright lipsticks, and these I do not like in the bright formula. I've kind of played with them a couple of times. I just don't like the way they look on me. I have other brighter lipsticks that I like a whole lot more than these. So a couple of lipsticks here. This was from Grave Intentions Cosmetics. I just, yeah, have no real use for it. It's kind of dried out. Like that part right there. Yeah, it's just, it's very dry. And then this is a Makeup Forever lipstick in C211. That is what that looks like there. I have a few lipsticks in this shade and I just don't reach for this mini, so it's gonna go. It's been sitting in my collection for a very long time, and I mean, I've used it a couple of times but not as often, just because I do have a couple of other lipsticks in the exact same shade. Then I am actually going to be decluttering these. I'm gonna give them to a friend. I played around with them a couple of times, swatched them, and I just don't really see myself reaching for them, especially just because they're the shimmery formula, and I just, yeah, I don't really reach for a whole palette of shimmers, and there's only one matte. That's not really my style or my go-to, so I'm going to be passing these along to a friend. And just so you guys know, anything in my declutters I do either pass along to friends or family, so they're already kind of going places or being thrown away because they're so old. Like a few of these things. So I'm finally getting rid of this e.l.f. loose powder. This has the worst flashback ever. It is horrible. It is awful. I do not recommend this. It's in their sheer and it's just a loose powder. So this is actually getting tossed because I don't want to put that on anyone else. And then I'm getting rid of this Wet n Wild Photo Focus Pressed Powder. I'm going to open this. If you guys can see, it has like hard pan on it, and like I've tried digging stuff out. It's just, it's not really worth it because every time I use this the way I like to use my powders, which is typically with a sponge, it just gets hard pan. Even with like a brush, like weird things, I touch it with my fingers, it gets hard pan. It needs to go. Then we have another e.l.f. powder, which I've used quite a bit of this one. This is their Perfect Finish HD powder. It also gives horrible flashback, but I did like it for under my under eyes. It was a nice powder. It had a good run in my collection. It's just time to go. I also don't like this packaging. I don't like that. It drives me crazy. Then we have two blushes. We have this Medusa's Makeup one, which I do love the color. I just have not been reaching for it as often. And it's starting to get this like weird smell to it. I don't know if something got on it or contaminated it, but I also broke the packaging, so it's not like it's quite sealed anymore. So it's ready to go. Then we have this Wet n Wild Color Icon Ombre Blush. This is in a purple haze. This is beautiful. I just don't reach for it. I don't feel like it really shows up on me even as like a blush topper. So it's gonna get passed along to a friend. Then I have a couple of brow products here. This is the Bella Pierre Stay Put Brow Gel, and this is in Licorice. It like dried out, and I just don't feel like reviving it. I have a brow product that I really am liking right now, and I have a couple other ones that are waiting for me to use once that one's done, and I just don't need that many. And then this is the Kokie Brow Kit. I will say this is actually fairly good if you do like powders, but as you can see, my powders have hard pan, and I don't know. I don't really reach for this a whole lot anymore, but it does have this cute little drawer with only this spoolie because I don't know where the little brush went. But yeah, and it has this little like brow wax to help your brow stay in place and things. And yeah, I used it for quite a while because I got into just using powders on my brow. Now I use a pomade, a powder, and a brow gel. Yeah, my brow routine's gotten a little extensive and crazy, so I don't reach for those anymore. Now we're going to talk, sorry about the reflective nature of this, but this is the Makeup Revolution and Soap Extra Spice palette. I will say this is a beautiful color story. It reminds me so much of fall, but I am not reaching for it, and I'm not willing to hold on to it for into the fall. The shimmers in this are okay. The mattes are okay. It's really just an okay palette in my mind. I keep trying different things from Makeup Revolution and being disappointed. Speaking of, I do have some items on their way from Makeup Revolution, so hopefully they're good. Then I'm going to be decluttering the BH Cosmetics Cool Stone palette here. I've had, the Marble Collection Cool Stone palette, sorry. I've had this palette in my collection for quite some time. I love the packaging. I think it's beautiful. The shades were, it was my purple palette from a long time ago, but I do have a couple of other eyeshadow palettes that are kind of reminiscent of this or have better purples, so I'm ready to pass this along to somebody else. So yeah, we're gonna say goodbye to this one. Then we have the Colored Rain Smoke Show palette. Sorry, it is very messy. I was working on panning that shadow completely. I just don't reach for this, and I've tried to really like it. The shades are not bad, but I just don't reach for it, and I think I have a friend who would get some better use out of this palette than I would. So I'm gonna pass it along. Speaking of, I do have the Colored Rain mystery box coming up, and I'm hoping not to get this one, but if I do, it will go aside for a giveaway, just so you're aware, because they're putting an eyeshadow palette in it. And then we have the Protégé. This is a Suva Beauty one. I have not even touch this. It still has this in there. I'm actually going to go ahead and pass this along to a friend. So that will go to a friend. I just never reached for it. I want a different Suva Beauty palette. Like, I've heard good things about Suva Beauty. I just would like something a little more colorful and a little less neutral. Then we have these shades in here that I'm going to be passing along. They're just various single shadows from different brands and things that I just don't reach for. I have 2 other palettes full of single shadows that I use a lot more. I have not been using my singles on camera, so I apologize. So if you'd like to see me use my singles on camera, please leave that down below as a request, and I will definitely plan a video around my single shadows. Then we have this one, and if you guys have been with me for a while, this is the Okalon Metal Matte Eyeshadow Palette. It is supposed to be a dupe for one of the Kat Von D palettes, and I've debated getting rid of this several times, but I have not used it. So I think it's time to go. The only reason I have not wanted to get rid of this is the shade Tinsel. So what I think I'm gonna do is depot that shade and put it into my single shadow palettes and get rid of the rest of them, pass this on to somebody else who might get some better use out of that palette than I would. Then we have this. This is the Medusa Makeup The Fix. It's a glitter adhesive. I do not like this glitter adhesive. I got it again and I thought I'd try it. It's okay. I end up with glitter fallout all over my under eyes, and I'd rather use the NYX one. And I don't really like this because I feel like I don't want to stick my finger in it, but I also don't want to stick a brush in it per se. I don't know. That it just kind of weirds me out a little bit. And then we have the Blush Neutral palettes from BH Cosmetics. I used to use this all the time. This was one of my very first eyeshadow palettes in my collection, and I used to reach for it all the time. But now that I have other eyeshadow palettes, this one just kind of does not get as much love. I do enjoy the blushes, but I don't really use them, so it is time to pass this one along as well. Then we have this. This is the Pure Midnight Masquerade Face Palette. What it looks like. Have not touched this, have not swatched it, have not done anything with it, so it's gonna get passed along to a friend. I just don't like how many shimmers are in it. The blushes look beautiful, but I know myself, and if they're in a palette that's a combination with an eyeshadow palette and I don't really like the eyeshadows, I am not going to reach for it. That is just kind of me and my personal take with that palette and makeup in general. And then we have one that I am going to have a hard time passing on, but I have all of these shimmers in other palettes. I was looking at this palette as well as my Violet Voss Rainbow palette, and I'd rather keep my Violet Voss Rainbow palette than this one. There are so many similar shades between this and that Violet Voss Rainbow palette that I do not need 2 palettes, and the Violet Voss one is a better quality, so I'd rather keep the better quality than the lower quality. By the way, this is the City Color Hypnotic palette. It was, I don't know if you can get it anymore. I bought it a long time ago. The shimmers, however, are a little crumbly, so just keep that in mind if you do find this and you do want to purchase it. It's an okay palette. Like I said, the Violet Voss one is very similar to this, and I'd rather keep the higher quality. Well, there you have it. There are all of the items that I am decluttering from my collection currently. I do hope that you enjoyed this video and that you enjoyed watching me go through some items in my makeup collection to declutter. If you have any video recommendations, leave those in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts and what you would like to see here on my channel. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and bye!